Ja, bara finna länken och den.
Andas.
Den är klar.
Nothing coming up though. There we go. Alright, get link. Share. So we're just sharing this on all sites, so people can follow along.
Yeah. Bear with us a few seconds while we get it up in the right places.
Bear with us, yeah. I'll just stick a reply here first. So it was an awesome seminar, so just give us a few seconds, we can share it to the Great British Hobbit League through our page.
Yep. As soon as that's done, then we hope that people can share it out throughout where we need to be.
Where's the... oh, there we go.
I just ended up just writing and because I couldn't find it.
Alright. There we go. Publish now. It's posted. And let's share this to the Great British Hobbit League. And there we go. All right.
So,
Are we in frame?
yeah.
Marius?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hello and welcome to yet another video here on the YouTube channel Spelfrämjande Fellowship. My name is Andreas Norwegian Viking.
I'm Stig, and we're sitting here with so many notes we don't even know where to begin.
Yeah, we just attended the Ardacon Q&A seminar, well, the seminar and Q&A section of the Warhammer World, of the Forge World Middle-earth team. Adam and Jay was on stage for roughly an hour. They did 20 minutes of a seminar and then they did 40 minutes of Q&A. So for all of you who was not at Ardacon, did not have the chance to go, couldn't afford to go, we want to bring you all of the exciting news that we heard. And funnily enough, most of this wasn't revealed at the actual seminar. Most of this came through the Q&A afterwards. So we'll go quickly through the seminar first. And I'll get Stig to chime in with his thoughts about some things during the thing. So do get involved in the comments. I think Marius on the camera can see your comments.
Yep.
As they happen. So if you have any questions for us, we do not do during the live stream. Just send them in the comments and Marius will tell us. All right. So first of all, they had a brief retrospective of some models. So they mentioned Gwaihir. And Gwaihir had a funny story behind him. So Gwaihir was sculpted 4 years ago by Trish Carden. Might be Trish Morrison for people who have been in the game for quite a while. And this was deemed too complicated to be made into fine cast. So they binned it in a box, and suddenly Adam found it in that box, and Gwaihir was suddenly released as a Master Series model from Forge World. So that is quite wonderful. I'll keep in touch on the comments in the Facebook section as well on my phone, so we can get everything. So I think this is great. Lovely things that are happening. They find things like Lake Town houses and they find Gwaihir, so that's really cool. Also, Thorin's company mentions that at like 1.5 years ago, somebody shouted from way back in Bugman's Bar that they wanted the Unexpected Journey concept models for Thorin's company. That's in the book. And Adam said, well, are there anyone who wants this? And people would say, yeah, we want this. So they then again found those in the bin and produced it. It was originally made by the Perry twins as proof of concepts before they traveled to New Zealand to get those extra concepts you wanted. So there's suddenly a football match behind us.
A rugby game, actually.
Yeah, so we're trying to shout over it. Alright, so there was a quick addressing of the exclusives, and without going too much into it, because it's a controversial topic, shelf space, not in the stores, because the Forge World products aren't being carried in stores, but in the actual warehouse. as well as their codes, because they need a certain amount of codes and they have to remove them to make more. So that's something to consider about that. But it's a controversial topic, so we won't sell any, do anything more on that. The crossbows from the Arnhills range are top sellers already. They've sold heaps and loads at Ardacon, and interestingly, fun fact about that is that the concept of the actual crossbow they did as proof of concept for the movie actually fires. That's really cool. So the guy who, well, originally was involved in the Middle-earth project back when The Hobbit was made, actually fired those crossbows in real life. That's really funny. So, interesting news about the General's accessory pack. The contents was revealed, so it's a new reference sheet. It's a better one that was included in the Darren box. You have a 50-pack army roster sheet, 12 scenario cards in A5, and then an A4 sheet of double-sided counters. Adam said about 55 tokens in total. Punch card, so I didn't have to ask about the material. I was hoping for like MDF or something, but we'll probably don't get that.
Probably then be cardboard more than likely.
Yeah, card. And there was a question in the Q&A about knockdown tokens that set, and there's at least 10 of them in that set, so you don't have to lie your models down, which is a huge, huge bonus.
Something also noticed in that segment is also that they talked about scenarios. 12 scenarios will essentially become their staple scenarios going forward.
Yeah, they didn't talk about changing the scenarios with the changes that certain tournaments have changed them, like Ardacon, but there might be a revision to the scenarios before they are released. So next up we go to battle companies. So they didn't exactly know the contents of the Battle Company's book when they talked about it last, so the exact number of pages has now been confirmed as 80. They added 16 pages to the book. You have 22 battle companies from the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit. There is 12 match play scenarios you can play. There's new war gear, skills and abilities, as well as all the warbands will have army rules. You have a narrative campaign. This is what I find most interesting about the whole thing. There is the Quest of Fornost.
Yeah, a 5-part narrative. 5
scenarios, they're linked, they start in Lake Town, and if you don't play 22 scenarios,
around 20 scenarios.
Yeah, around 20 scenarios with your warband before the end of the campaign, before you reach scenario 5.
Yeah.
You will be in very, very tough waters, was what was said.
I think he said something along the lines of you'll be probably stomped.
Yeah, stomped.
Whether that was literally or figuratively depends on what's at the end, and we don't know that, and they would certainly not tell us anyway.
And then we had a small note about there will be White Dwarf support for battle companies. You'll see probably extra things like scenarios or rules, stuff like that later on in White Dwarf. Last thing was about the rulebook / Pelennor Fields Fall of Osgiliath, Battle of Pelennor Fields and Fall of Osgiliath book. It is slated for spring / summer 2018. Adam said 2017 on stage. I was like, should be out already. And the army bonus rules are testing for this. So the army bonus rules you now see, and this might have been explained previously by me and others, is that the army rules are beta testing that they're using at Throne of Skulls. So don't expect him to stay the same, but some of them will probably remain the same. And they are probably not just made for the models you have now and profiles you have now. More profiles and models will be added to the range, and that could mean that the army as a whole will benefit more from certain army rules than it is on paper now. Right, so Q&A. So the first question asked in the Q&A was plastics. So Adam went on and said at some point they hope to go back to plastics. And the most certain thing they will do in plastic are terrain. So, for instance, Rohan Houses was mentioned as a very, very possible plastic terrain kit. Later on in the Q&A, there was stated that there will be no terrain this calendar year for The Hobbit. So you cannot expect a kit like the Lake Town houses just popping up sometime around.
No, certainly not
Christmas.
on this time.
Yeah.
On this side of the year. Anyway.
Yeah. Next Q&A was, why are Grimhammer's defense 6? So they did a straw poll in the room. Grimhammers will be defense 7 in a future iteration of the Unexpected Journey book. Possibly errata, possibly something else.
There's also so much love to dwarves during the entire. I felt like some other races could use a little love as well.
Oh, you love the elves.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then we hate the dwarves, so yeah.
Next up was multiple profiles. So it was mentioned that some models have multiple profiles, some multiple profiles have been removed in the Dernbackian book. So Elrond has 4 profiles. Do we need 4 profiles of Elrond? I personally think we need 3. And some profiles will be multiple profiles like Boromir and Thorin. And they went at length to say that, well, we might do Knight of the Pelennor. Well, we in the new army rules, there isn't a Knight of the Pelennor. But you might not expect Marshal of the Ridmark to stay as he is. So saying that Knight of the Pelennor is removed might be a fallacy. Seeing a link between certain rules of the Knight of Pelennor and certain rules of the Marshal of Ridmark, amalgamation of the two might be possible.
We did go through, at least in some of the cases, talked about the profiles, and as in they didn't want to remove profiles that were popular and people loved.
Yeah.
But they did want to perhaps you had to find them the rules and such you loved, maybe in a different form or format or war gear or something. But they would at least prefer not to, for example, remove a model that is very popular. As the example they used was the dubiously crowned Thranduil.
Yeah. Which I still think should be made as an Orafor profile, Thranduil's father, but that's beside the point. So then Jay and Adam was asked a very cool question, which is Jay, what was his favourite profile to write for the Dernbackian book? So he mentioned 3 distinct profiles, or 7, which is Bard's Children, because they are non-combatants, and that has never been made in a structured battle game before, at least not of this type. You have the Nazguls of Dol Guldur, and then you have the Azog's Tower. That's his 3 favourite, and they are very different profiles to each other, and very different to anything else we've seen in the game so far. So Azog's Tower was mentioned a bit. It might seem that we'll be waiting for that model for a good while. But I asked the question, it's not featured in any narrative play, because they mentioned that the Azog's Tower is made with rules in mind for narrative play, but there is no scenario for him in the Dernbackian book of it. So I asked quite plainly, when you do make the Azog's Tower, will you make a scenario in either a Source Book or White Wolf? And he said, well, most likely. So that will possibly be a thing. We have loads to cover, so we'll go quickly through it. Goat, Thorin, and Dwalin, Feeling Keely. 6 to 9 months. So they're not a huge priority about now.
Yeah, they'll arrive exactly when they need to.
Which means we need to convert up Thorin and Feeling Keely, because Sebastian has done Dwalin.
Yeah, very true.
So we need to convert up those for the Grand Campaign.
Yeah, I'm still also wondering about the race, but I assume it'll be a while and they'll arrive when they need to.
Yeah. So you have more sanctioned events during the next 12 months. America and Europe was mentioned, like events in Europe was mentioned as the likeliest place to have an event in Europe would be the Amsterdam area, because it's a very central location to get to through from Germany, Switzerland, Holland, rest of Holland, and
A central location like Amsterdam. I
yeah,
think
a
is
central
the source
location
for
like Amsterdam. America was mentioned; they are going to Nova, but sanctioned events and tournaments will be more of around the world as it progresses.
In short, they do want to do this as soon as they can. They just can't tell us exactly when, how, where, or if. Well, more or less, they are doing it. It's just more a matter of finding out how they're doing it.
Yeah, basically they want to do as much as they can for doing community interactions and outreach. Germany was mentioned as having a 100-man tournament. So when they go to Nova, that's a 60-man tournament. So why would they not go to Germany for a 100-man tournament, bringing all the exclusive miniatures they can to that event and stuff like that? All right. Okay, so a very, very interesting thing was mentioned by Jay, who obviously writes the rules, and that is because he was asked about throwing weapons. So, throwing weapons are cast at 1 inch distance in the game.
Essentially in your face.
Yeah, in your face. So when you're shooting and moving and your opponent is 24 inches away, obviously you should have a -1 to shoot. But when you're throwing a throwing axe at 70 centimeters or inches or whatever, Jay mentioned that you might not necessarily need to have a penalty for doing that. So that might be one change to the game we will see over time.
At least it wasn't said specifically it will be a change, but the innuendos were large enough that we can sort of get the idea.
Yeah, pretty much innuendo into it, yeah. Made to order was mentioned. Obviously, Blood Bowl 40k, Age of Sigmar have had made to order systems in place, and that means that when Adam has made a list of the made to order items he wants to be available for made to order. So, and the system is in place, and made to order is in metal. So certain models might see return for a limited amount of time if they do not have the shelf space to actually produce them full time again, which I think is pretty good. Obviously, made to order system has been changed. Previously, it was made to order for a certain quota. Now it's made to order for a certain time period, and then they make those items and ship it to you. So you don't have all these people scalping made to order items. All right. Multi-part heroes was mentioned. Like, for instance, Boromir my Tauren horse has his sword and has his shield and has his banner. So something like that may be happening. And Keith Robertson is very aware of,
very enthusiastic
and
about
very
it.
enthusiastic of those kinds of things. Yeah.
It's also they mentioned this idea of talking about these small kind of kits for different heroes or even soldiers, I suppose, as well, to get the gear and such they would need for the battle.
Yeah, Mirkwood Elf Cavalry shields,
For example.
Yeah. Right, so they were then asked what has not been made as a profile or miniature they would like to see. So Jay's one has not been made as a profile or miniature. Adam's one has been made as a profile but not a miniature. Jay's answer was werewolves. From the Legions of Middle-earth book, you had a werewolf points cost, but you didn't have a profile for them. No miniatures had been made by Games Workshop of werewolf. at least not for Lord of the Rings SPG. Adam does not want werewolves. He was very adamant about that.
He looked like he was close to ready to change the amount of people on the scene.
You didn't get my pun. Adamant. Adamant. Okay.
Well
Right.
done, sir. Well done.
And then Adam wants Ents, especially the named Ents. Quick Beam, Beach Bone. So he wants miniatures and profiles for that. Because he really liked the Ents, maybe making a source book for the fall of Isengard. Thank you.
The big tower, you know.
The big tower.
Saruman, kind of wizard guy.
Yeah, I've used him in games before.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Killed the dragon with him.
Yeah, it killed me too. Well, not me specifically, but my army anyway.
So, themed combination. So, in regards to the army special rules, people see pure army special rules, but not necessarily themed combinations like Last Lines and Numenor. So, this could be something that they will see to, but in the very far future.
They want to make sure these specific army rules that they're developing work well and are balanced and do what they're supposed to do. They essentially want to encourage and reward thematic armies that are essentially doing, for example, you have an entire Minister army. It's not anything very specific about it, but it is cool.
It is cool. So he mentioned he was facing the Necromancer and
Necromancer, a Taskmaster, and Hunter Orcs backed up with more Hannons,
yeah,
something like that.
And
sounds
basically said that
ridiculous.
Channel Chill Soul, powered by the Taskmaster, Taskmasters could be getting a nerf back to the face.
Yeah, it did seem like
Yeah, he did
whoever
specifically
played
said
it,
that Taskmaster could get a nerf back to the face.
well, you can, for example, say that whoever is keep doing this to people should be aware who they're doing it to. Yeah.
So quickly to the next question. Will we see War of the Ring again? There was a definite yes to that, but a lot different. So you will have your opportunity to play with huge armies in less time in the future, sometime in the future. Thorin's Company on Ponies released as models? Probably not. He said, would you like £130 box set exclusive model kits? And I'm like, yes, but it's not a priority, at least. Box game. So there was mentioned like the Trella Calth is made for your property in plastic by Games Workshop to introduce players to this kind of game cheaper. These crazy people are looking at me. Oh well.
We have
High
an
world
audience.
champion and bronze. So box games will not happen anymore because of the way
The way the IP works.
the way the IP works. But they will definitely look at a new starter set for the Middle-earth. And again, this might be in the far, far future. Alright, so there was multiple discussions about Bolg and Azog's Fight 7, and Adam specifically mentioned that Bolg and Azog, well, Bolg well, Azog in general, he killed Thrain. Oh, he defeated Thrain, he killed Thrall, and he defeated Thorin.
He beat the hell out of it.
That's why he's Fight 7, and will not change. Bolg, his reason for Fight 7 is that when he becomes this huge mammoth monster, he just beats the living crap out of Fili and Talio and Legolas and all these people. That's why he's Fight 7. And to cap it all off, an emphatic statement from Adam J. when a question about the Sigmarization of 40k and fantasy. Will Middle-earth be Sigmarized? Emphatic no.
I think that was probably the most definite thing they've said all day.
They will not change the rules set. The core rules mechanics of the game will not be changed going forwards. I still think we might see keyword mechanic to the game with the things that we're seeing in the army specific rules, but I don't think, well, it will not get Sigmarized.
Yeah, that's not really a mechanic change, really. A large one anyway.
Yeah, the last thing that was said was Sigrid, Tilda and Vayne are arriving in limited quantities tomorrow. I will be queuing up. And if you're watching this who is at Ardagon and wants those children, there are only 30 available tomorrow. And I know the price, it is £15. That's cheap, in my opinion. £5 maybe. They're very small, but so is actually Alfred. He's £10. So, yeah.
I believe they said something about it being possible to order them.
And we're back.
All right. So we're back in. We lost connection there for a while, but are there any questions, Marius, from the live stream?
Yeah, we got one for the duration. How long are they gonna continue supporting?
Adam did say this.
Yeah.
I said that.
He wants to do this forever.
Infinitum.
He used the word forever.
As long as we support it.
Yeah, as long as we support it, it will carry on forever.
And the larger the amount of player base there is, the more support it'll add. Essentially, if we play it, they'll be making it.
So Jay is a young chap,
We can get him to 60.
so 40 years.
Yeah? What do you think, guys? Can we try to get Jay to go out as a pensioner, like about 70 and still doing this? What do you think?
Any other questions, Marius?
No, nothing else.
Alright, so let's cap this off properly. Thank you guys for watching. I've been Andreas Norwegian Viking.
I've been seeing.
And support us on Patreon using the link that will appear sometime tomorrow in the description below. And as always, please comment, like, share and subscribe.
And support your hobby. Or
Got it.
I got it. It's Middle-earth strategy battle game even at times.
Awesome. See you guys.